If you don't feel like they're listening to you, guess what? You want to know what they're going to listen to? Their game doing horribly financially. So if you don't like Dead or Alive, don't buy it. And what's funny is that a lot of the people that are making the complaints and saying that they're fans, it's been verified on Twitter they never bought it. So they're not even fans. So at that point, it's like, okay, well, that's bullcrap. Moving on. Look, I have my fair share of problems with the Dead or Alive series, but if I don't like it, then I don't buy it. I don't see why this is such a problem for people. Adria's got this look on her face, just like, okay, you're ranting again, but also, like, I halfway agree with it.
Yeah.
So, but, I mean, do you think he was out of line for saying, like, if you don't like what I'm creating, you don't have to buy it?
Pretty much.
Oh, you have a problem with it, or you agree with it?
Well, I would agree with it.
Yeah. I want to clarify that, because I tend to fast talk around Andrea a little bit.
Yeah, you do.
But, it's not like I try to. I talk fast for a living.
Yes, you do.
And yet I'm not a lawyer. But yeah, the bottom line is, guys, if you don't like what they're saying, if you don't like the way the women look, don't buy it. It's the best way to be able to handle any of this. Vote with your frickin' wallets. Because as we're seeing with American developers, that actually is a thing, and it does actually scare the bejeebers out of the companies. I mean, I just barely saw the numbers for Anthem and was kind of happy about it. It's not doing all that well. It's already been discounted on major markets, including EA's own. There's also a rumor mill going around in EA that it's going to go free to play pretty soon.
Really?
Yup. So at that point, take what you will out of it. But that's the way to be able to do it. Is don't buy the games, don't support them, and eventually Electronic Arts and Activision Blizzard have to start listening to you. And if they don't want to listen to you, then their company can fold. I've gotten too business political, haven't I?
Pretty much.
This is... You're just kind of looking at me going, this is not... I'm not on the Geek News podcast. Why are you bringing this crap up? Well, I'm bringing it up because I know that a few of our listeners actually want to know that since, you know, they want to be able to get a woman's opinion on this crap that's going on. There you go. You've had it. Like, and it's not like you're disagreeing with anything I'm saying.
No.
So that's the dumbest part about the whole argument of, like, sexy women are apparently evil. Because anybody can fulfill that. You are literally shaming people for something that their genes had something to say about, not them.
Like I need more of those?
I mean, you work in the medical field. You can't mess with genes. Well, they're trying to. But none of that is being applied via human genes. So at that point, you can't mess with it, ergo, why are you criticizing?
Yeah, who knows?
Because I'll just say this right here and now. If we actually got a say in how our daughters looked and everything like that, why didn't we get that option? Because that would have been really great to be able to have in the doctor, right? Be able to make sure, oh yeah, I have bad knees. Can we make sure she doesn't have bad knees? Oh, I have really bad acid reflux. Can we make sure that my daughter has no acid reflux? I have no say in the matter, guys. And what's going to make me laugh eventually, like, if this happens to our daughters, I'm going to be really pissed. But, like, let's just say one of our daughters actually comes out to be a sexy chick. And she gets criticized in school for being a sexy chick.
What would you do?
As a dad, I would be endlessly pissed off. Because I couldn't plan on that happening. There's no way I could have planned. Because as far as her growing up, it is... There are going to be some things that are predetermined, but there's also things that are an absolute crapshoot. So yeah, I'd be outright pissed. I have no problem admitting that. He's like, you are literally teasing her. You are literally criticizing her for something she had no control over. She is just growing. Okay, I'll get off this.
He'll get off the soapbox there.
That's something that bothers. But I will say this. I am glad the Tekken creator came out and said the things he did. Because I've been screaming this for years. I've been screaming this ever since Retake Mass Effect happened. Which was basically that just because you paid $60 for a game, great, good for you. That does not make you an official part of the Mass Effect art team. That does not make you a part of EA, and ergo, you're developing the game just as much as they are. It doesn't. And since they're the creator, I mean, they're happy to listen to you, and that's great. Because some creators won't. Some creators don't care. But the ones that do, they actually, they get the final say, whether you like it or not. Tetsuya Nomura got to decide who Sora was before any of us knew who Sora was.
Yep.
Okay? Bringing it back to Kingdom Hearts. He got to decide how Kairi looked, how Riku looked, how they grew up, how characters like Axel looked. He got to decide that. We didn't. He'd be happy to listen to people's feedback. I'm sure he is. But at the end of the day, it was his call. And he made it. Whether you like him or not. And with that, what?
I was gonna say, didn't like Square Enix and Disney had they were like trying to decide on who was gonna be the main character before then or something?
I'm sure they had tons of meetings trying to figure out how they were gonna do it. And I think Nomura picked the right way to be able to go about it. I do not think it would have been a good idea to have a main character of a merger franchise like Kingdom Hearts and Disney and Final Fantasy for one of them to be the main character.
Well,
that wouldn't have made a whole lot of sense. It was probably better to go neutral and let Nomura, who had created characters at this point, let him create characters. You know, funniest thing, you let the creators create, that's what they'll do. And that's how we have characters like Sora, Riku, Kairi, crap, there are so many other characters I'm trying to keep secret here that, like, you know, for the sake of story. That's how you got characters like Axel.
Freeze.
One of the things that makes me absolutely laugh is that
Fire.
I've never received confirmation of this, but I can't help but wonder if it was pre-planned. Is around the time that Kingdom Hearts was coming out, so was Final Fantasy VII Advent Children.
Yeah.
And so when he was creating characters like Axel, and he had just barely done Advent Children and made physical models for a character by the name of Reno, that he had the exact same voice actor who played Reno play Axel, who looks like Reno. He is Reno with more hair and a teardrop tattoo.
Freeze.
I'm not even kidding. Editor Drak, if you can find like a comparison between the two of them, please do it. But no, they look the same. You cannot tell me that one did not influence the other. And when he sat there and said, well, you know, we're looking at voice actors and such, let's just have the same guy who played Reno play Axel. Which, I mean, I'm glad because that actor got secured work for years.
I bet he was thrilled.
Well, yeah, sure. It meant that Square Enix invited him back.
Fire.
I'm sure he was very happy about it. But I look at them and I go, dude, there's a reason that he was brought in because they literally look the same. Except one has more hair, one has different weapons, and one has a frickin' eye drop tattoo on his face. It really makes me want to dig out Advent Children and just let you listen to it. And like, dude, that is Axel's voice. And it looks like Axel.
It's Lee. Got it memorized.
Got it memorized. We'll get there when we get there.
Freeze. Fire.
Oh, and I actually completely breezed over this just because I wanted to be able to get to that SJW bullcrap story. we don't have official confirmation yet on what it is, but Nomura has said that there's going to be DLC. for Kingdom Hearts 3.
Yay!
And he has said what they basically try to do, which is there would be, if they were smaller updates, like say a new costume or adding in the customizable options from Fragmentary Passage or adding a critical mode, those would be free, which is exactly what should happen. And then if they did paid DLC, it would be basically bigger, more story-fulfilling arcs. So it's not necessarily going to be teasing the next game like most DLC does. It would be games that, or it would be DLC that helps fill in the gaps.
Stuff that might be to help explain some stuff.
I'm not going to give examples right here now because the examples that I could give would kind of give away a lot of the plot.
Yep.
But, like, just out of curiosity, Andrea, what would you like as a DLC pack for whether it be a big one or a small one? What would you like in Kingdom Hearts 3 to be a DLC pack?
Oops. I would probably, more any even side story content that goes along for maybe the big DLC stuff. But like, little stuff like critical mode. I
mean, we're not going to play it, but somebody will.
No, but maybe I would do at some point on my own time.
Okay, I won't play it, but somebody will. Like critical. And what's funny is that we know that critical mode is in the game. Somebody actually figured out that you can unlock critical mode in. It was like the early. I think it was Toy Box. Everything up until I think Arendelle. You can actually find code for critical mode, and you can do Kingdom of Corona, Toy Box, and I think Monstropolis all the way up until Arendelle. You can do in critical mode and see how it plays out. So that would be a really great thing to have happen. Let me bring this up, and you can tell me whether or not you agree with it. Here's what I kind of don't want. I don't want new worlds. I know a lot of people are screaming like, this is the time to do a Star Wars world or a Marvel world. Okay, guys, I've said it. I'll say it again. Marvel's been done. Geppetto! Eh? Oh, bless my soul. It's Jiminy Cricket. How in the world did you get here? You tell me. How does a clockmaker wind up in the belly of a whale?
Oh, so that's where we saw the clocks from.
Well, it is a long story. I'm sure it's a long story. It's Kingdom Hearts. Everything's a long story.
2 hours later.
300 hours later.
So you said, you sailed out to look for Pinocchio?
And Monstro swallowed you? Did you make a proper offering to Lord Jabu Jabu? Yes, but I found my son. I would do anything for my Pinocchio. But now you can't get out, can you? Being stuck in the belly of a whale is awful. I mean, the smell. Seriously, the smell.
And don't run into Rudo if you happen to see her.
Why aren't you carrying me? Not if Pinocchio and I are together. That makes everything a little bit better. We've smelled fish all the time. We lived in a port city, for crying out loud. There's nothing better than being reunited with someone you care about. Yeah, I know what you mean. Except I can't remember what she is, or who she is, or what gender she is. I don't know who she is. I don't care if I'm trapped here, so long as I have Pinocchio. He's such a good boy. Well, what about me? Screw you, Jiminy. You've done nothing on this journey for him. Well, he still tells fibs, but with a little help from me. Oh, Jiminy, you worry too much. And also, stop worrying about my boy. You haven't done anything for him. Speaking of Pinocchio, where is he?
He was here a minute ago. Where's he gone to this time?
I expect he's off exploring. That boy has been poking around just about everywhere inside this monster. That is not an image that I wanted in my head. Just about everywhere, huh? He won't tell me why it's so important. I tell him it's dangerous, but he won't listen. That boy's a handful. Sora, if you don't mind. I know. You want us to help you find him, right? Come on, guys. Let's get going. Why do I have to do the work? I'm a kid. I should be out playing.
I'm a Toys R Us kid.
And by the way, so now we have high jump. Yay. Oh, this is going to be so much more helpful in the worlds now.
Yeah.
So yeah, so back to what I was saying before we had the cutscene. Guys, you have a Marvel world. It's called Big Hero 6. All right? So that's my big thing. I don't want another world, which probably means another Keyblade design or anything like that. I would just rather have them fill up some of the backstory that 3 has.
It'd be even interesting, even for a small DLC, like it could bring back some popular Keyblades.
Well, I kind of don't want that because then at that point people are going to want the same Keyblade transformations to happen to those.
I guess that's true.
Which at that point, I don't know how long it took for them to develop the Keyblade forms, but I'm going to guess months. Like to be able to get them right and test them properly and everything like that. So that's kind of why I don't want worlds or Keyblades or anything like that. I want stuff that's simple. Stuff that can be done within the engine that doesn't take a whole lot of effort. And anything extra like Keyblade transformations or worlds,
I know.
Much rather move to the sequel.
I know what Drak would want if there was a small DLC thing he would want. He would like to see if there was a costume like of an equivalent for Sora to have armor.
Damn frickin' right. That's the one thing I was denied in the entire game. Either Sora or Rico. I don't care who. I want Keyblade armor, and I want them to be riding their own damn Keyblade motorcycle.
The gliders.
I don't even call them gliders. They're glorified motorcycles as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, well, Riku could have a motorcyclist Keyblade.
I want one of them to have it. Well, it would be appropriate for him to have it, right? Given that big old car key.
Or it'd be a big Mercedes or something.
That might be a customizable thing, like giving an additional form that allows for actual Keyblade armor. Or for an actual suit of armor to be done for Sora. I'm okay with it. But that's what I'm talking about. Is like, I don't want the big stuff to be done in DLC packs. I'd much rather those go toward the development of the next game. Because those are going to take months. And it actually bugs me when DLC packs take months to come out. And then you play them and they're not that long and you're just like sitting there going, okay, what took months of development for this?
True. It would be hard, but
and like I said, the other thing that I also don't want to see happen is I agree with Nomura. I don't see a point in doing a DLC pack that teases at the next game. Either it's not related to the story in Kingdom Hearts 3 Enlarged, like it's just something that is extra in the worlds, or you fill in the gaps of Kingdom Hearts 3.
That's like
really
maybe just some more behind the scene detail of, you know, how some of the characters returned or how they ended up the way they were. Maybe that'd be kind of interesting just to see where that would have gone.
Yeah, I don't necessarily need a DLC pack that teases at the next game. If you want to do that a little bit closer to the next game, then fine. But something tells me Nomura's not really going to do that. And for good reason, by the way, might I add. Just because I think Nomura kind of has his tightened focus. Especially since I just barely found out that his role in the Final Fantasy VII Remake has been minimized. That was probably a good decision by Square Enix, in my opinion.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because he had too much on his plate.
Oh, yeah.
like, I was actually starting to ask this honest question, Andrea, which is, does he even sleep anymore? Like, honestly, does Nomura even sleep anymore? Because I don't think he has the time to sleep.